Putting our customer hat on today and just envisaging some of those venues we've been into when they first open, and some of those amazing experiences you can have when you walk into a new restaurant, a new bar, where it's just oozing with that creativity of like a kind of hospitality genius, where their creativity's been channeled the thousand kind of ways they've brought the whole thing together is just so seamlessly and beautifully done that you can't even quite put your finger on why you love it so much. And then the unfortunate thing in our industry is, so often, like within 18, 24, 30 months, like that business is out of business. And I've seen it play out over and over again, and the reasons it happens are really quite clear, and kind of completely unnecessary as well. So it starts, if we just look at this chart here, we have this blue line, which is showing kind of owners' creativity and customers' love for the business, and this green line, which is showing the kind of owners' stress and the amount of cash a business is burning. So, or going through. So, often we get an opening. At that stage, the kind of owner's creativity is really thriving. As the business opens, that often actually accelerates, customers telling people what a wonderful experience they're having, giving positive feedback, leads to like great vibe for the owner, and they're actually like really thriving. And then, the team members are also thriving on that feedback. So it's really easy to get a great team culture when everything is kind of positive, and, it feels like you've got a lot of revenue and your customers are telling you how much they love the place. Now, the unfortunate thing is that during these phases, most hospitality businesses are not getting good financial systems in place. And that doesn't seem like it should affect hospitality, not having great financial controls in place, but unfortunately it does play out that way. So no financial controls, no operational systems. And you can still mask with good revenue, and at this stage you can still have really good revenue, but underlying profitability that's not that great. So your revenue's still kind of masking the fact that actually you haven't got any good controls in place. Um, but what eventually happens is, because that profitability is not there, it suddenly gets hard to pay your rent or your bills or your wages. Payroll day becomes really stressful. And suddenly the owner's spending time really stressed about this, and stress starts rising really fast. And then the owner starts spending a lot of time on things that they're actually not good at. They didn't get into hospitality to be an accountant, but suddenly they find themselves having to deal with suppliers calling them, employees asking why they didn't get paid on time, and that creates a lot of stress. And ultimately, creativity really starts to nosedive. As the creativity starts to nosedive, like that was what the venue was built on, was this owner's creativity. Customers feel that, obviously, and customers kind of, they might not necessarily complain, but they won't come back as often, or they'll start looking elsewhere, or they won't come back at all, worst of all. And, as customers start to complain, or as they stop coming back and it's not as busy and the vibe's not as good, then, those good team members start to, they're aware of that as well, right? And so they start to move on. They start to look for a venue that does meet their standards. They go and find a owner to work for who is thriving and has that creativity. And, once the owner starts hiring a next round of hiring, and they're hiring a B grade team, and the training's not as good as it was at opening, it's unfortunately a death kind of now. And you just end up in that vicious downward spiral. And, creativity at this point is absolutely dead. Stress is sky high, and there's just kind of no coming back from it. And that's why, like, we read these stories in the papers that, a business that 24 months ago was so fabulous, has had the administrators called in. The owner's unfortunately completely broken. It doesn't seem like, this business was set up and needed to worry about anything else other than delivering great food or a night out or beautiful hospitality. But actually, what it needed in place was great financial controls and great systems, so it could deliver that hospitality over a long period of time.